Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Elevenses with the reps at Diesel Bookstore. We're so happy to see everybody today. Every Wednesday, we get together here in our safe book space in our little boxes, and we meet with our publishing professionals, our sales reps from all the different publishers and our booksellers and other book people. And we talk about cake. No, I'm kidding. We talk about books, new, upcoming, recently released titles that our professionals want you to know about and tell you about so that you can add to your to be read pile, which if you are a regular viewer of Elevenses is already teetering stack. And so to that end, we'll post the links to all of the books that we talk about today in the little chat area there. And you can order them from Diesel at your leisure after you listen to everybody talk about them. And let's see, what else? What else can I tell you? Oh, yes. I'm going to introduce everybody and we're going to get rolling. We have some really great books we want to talk about today. But first, I want to tell you about an event that's happening at the store tonight. Tonight is the 19th already. I cannot believe it is like the last third of August already, but it is. And so tonight, August 19th at 6:30 p.m. at Diesel, we have Debbi DiMaggio, and she will be discussing and signing Mindset in Motion, Activate Your Purpose, Power, and Peak Performance. And yep, that's going to be tonight at the store at 6:30, so you don't want to miss that. We have lots of I know it's just, we're in that zone here where it's like just about the end of vacation, school vacation. It's back to school. We're back into we're going to head into fall. We're not going to notice it because it's hot. It's just going to stay hot. But we have lots of great events coming up still, and you can see all of those at dieselbookstore.com, so you can check that out later. All right, so let me tell you who's here today, and we can get going. Very exciting day because we have a brand new rep with us. We have Dave Zutter from Random House, and we are very happy to welcome Dave. Hi, Dave. Thank you for joining
us.
Thanks
for having me. Yes.
Yeah.
Very excited.
We have also Suzi Hough from HarperCollins, and we have our returning champion and Elevenses stalwart, Andrea Tetrick from PGW, and always happy to see you, Andrea.
Likewise.
Let's get rolling, shall we? Suzi, why don't you lead us off today?
Good morning. All right. So my first one is my back to school pick. It's Instant Noodles and Beyond by Robin Ha. It is a comic book based on ramen noodles, and it's just the coolest thing. It comes out next week, so I'm a little early. But Robin introduces everyone to the international world of instant noodles, because instant noodles is not just your, top ramen. It's also American, there's Italian, there's Thai, there's Mexican, just instant noodles from around the world. Like Maruchan cup noodles are the ones that I grew up with. But for other people, it would be like Kraft mac and cheese, technically an instant noodle. So what makes this book so cool is Robin dives into ways to take this heavily processed item and make it healthier by adding, say, proteins and vegetables, ways that you could remove or at least reduce the sodium into the noodles to make it healthier. And it's all done in this highly visual, graphic novel style that shows you step by step what to do. She introduces different ways to change the flavors with new sauces or new sides. And it's just such a great gift for that kid who's going to college for the first time, for a new chef or reluctant chef, or just someone who, grew up loving these or loves them now and wants fun new ways to experience instant noodles.
So I want to just put my 2 cents in here about this. And you were breaking up a little bit, Suzi, so I just want to fill in that this book we have like a little area as booksellers that we get to see where the upcoming releases are happening, and we get to make our picks for Indie Next, which we've talked about on Elevenses quite a bit, and see what's happening. And it's called Edelweiss. Anyway, you don't need to know that, but just checking out this, the description of this book and the jacket and the advanced reader copy that we get to see. It's got a huge number of reviews from booksellers who absolutely are like crazy about this book. And that's even before it comes out. They're really excited about it, that it's a really great book for any, college student, but also anybody who wants just new and fun ways to make, everybody loves ramen, right? So, and ramen's kind of gotten a bad rap here and there, but it's like a lot of empty calories and not good for you. So making healthy, thinking of healthy ways to do it is really clever, and it's a great format. It's really fun. It's very accessible. So it's getting like a lot of buzz already. So I think this is a great gift for anybody going back to school, anybody like putting up in a place, a little apartment for themselves, or anybody who doesn't love to cook but does like to eat, So
Mhm.
thank you, Suzi.
I also think that that's an incredible cover.
I'm sorry, Andrea. Can you say that again?
I can't believe how great a cover that is too. It's
Isn't
just
it great?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the interior is great too.
Yeah, I wish I had some spreads to show you guys. It's just such a great book. Robin is an incredible graphic novelist. She wrote a book several years ago with PRH called Cook Korean that's similarly. So she's very experienced creating these recipes in a graphic novel format.
Perfect. Thank you, Suzi. All right, Dave, welcome again.
Thank you. Good
Yes. And then I just should say before you start that because we have Liz Campfield on regularly from Random House. So for people who are wondering why we have two Random House reps, this is just to say that because it's so big and there's so many books, we need two of you.
Well, there's actually three of us with Tom. There's
Well,
Tom.
I know. I
Liz,
consider Tom Penguin because he's Penguin. So he's the Penguin. He's the Penguin part of Penguin Random House. But the Random House part is split into two. So in case you were wondering, Dave is the other half of that.
Yes.
So different imprints and different types of titles. So very excited.
I'm very excited to be here. This is very exciting. So my first book, I'm holding it up here. I don't know if you're going to show it on the screen. It's The Breakup by Kurt Andersen. This is his first novel in 15 years. So it's very exciting to have him back writing fiction again. His last two books were Fantasyland and Evil Geniuses. They were nonfiction books, basically exploring the fault lines of the American experiment. So this one, I would say, is kind of the end of a trilogy, which is actually set in the future, where basically the fault lines of America have shattered and America is breaking apart. So this is a really fun, interesting, absurd way of looking at the country breaking up. There's been a civil war following the current administration's policies, and America is separating into different counties and two different countries. And basically the Civil War basically takes us apart, but it's told against the breakup of a couple. This is Asher and Natalie, two, kind of liberal idealed people who are basically looking at the new territory of America and exploring it through their own perspectives. It has to do with a lot of our current absurdities in politics from both sides, the hypocrisy, the craziness. You go, oh my God, I don't want to read about the breakup of our country. But at the same time, it's told so amazingly well. He writes so, I always want to say beautiful, but it's really a thought-provoking look at the way our country is currently shaped. And it's quirky. They deal with each chapter is written or told from a different perspective. So you get his perspective, her perspective, their AI assistant's perspective, plus their kids' perspective. So you really get a full rounded view of what the world is like. And it just takes you through all sorts of levels of relationships, the country, and it's just poking fun at it all while also giving you a lot to really digest. And it's just such an amazing read. I was so excited when I picked this one up, and it really does pay off with a very satisfying.
I'm sorry, Dave, did you say when this is this
I'm
out?
sorry. Yeah, this came out yesterday. So it's brand new on the shelves at Diesel right now. So
brand new on sale. And I have been noticing that this is a theme. Best writers is the breakup of the country or what's going on. You always look at writers to really see the future because they usually imagine it before it happens or as it's happening. Emily St. John Mandel has a similar kind of themed book coming. I won't say too much about that yet. We'll talk about that later. But I've just been noticing that is definitely a trend. But you're right. Do you want to dive into it? And on Elevenses here, we talk a lot about how you kind of inoculate yourself by where you're reading and experiencing worst case scenarios kind of a thing. And being able to sort of get a grip on it that way, I guess. And this is very exciting since it's the first book in a long time. We're kind of in an age where writers are sort of
making their
popular,
comebacks.
pressured to do like
Right.
a lot of,
Yeah.
so it's always really great to see somebody come back around who's been off the scene for a minute.
And he offers just it's an interesting perspective. I say it's very funny to think about the country breaking up, but just the fun. There's scenes where they're on this college tour and they're driving from county to county. And each time they pass a county line, they get an announcement. You are now entering the state you are leaving the United States and entering into freedom. And it's really funny what they do and how absurd it is to think of how the country breaking up along county lines. It's just, but it's kind of like crazy or if people get their way.
I kind of think that's something people think about, regularly these days. I think you do. We're experiencing a lot of stuff we couldn't imagine not too long ago, So excellent. Thank you so much, Dave. All right, Andrea.
Thank you. My first book that I want to talk about is We. And this is a novel this is a standalone dystopian novel by the author of the Mirror Visitor Quartet that comes to us from Europa Editions. This is translated from the French, and the author is Christelle Dabos. And the Mirror Visitor Quartet has done very well here in the States, especially A Winter's Promise. So some of you folks out there listening and watching this may know this previous series, and like I say, especially A Mirror Visitor Quartet. Diesel has done very well with this series, and we expect even more enthusiasm from readers for this one now that Dabos has a name over here. The author has a serious knack for world building and genre mashup, and she's really quite impressive. This is a chase novel. It's a sci-fi dystopia. It's got elements of crime procedurals, romantasy, dark academia. I mean, this novel has it all. Something for everyone. You gotta love that. So there's a lot of different ways to dive into this one. It's getting rave reviews. It's great early reads from booksellers. Kirkus gave it a starred review. So I think this book is just poised to hit the scene. And I think this book's going to hit the ground running, as they say. And it's been compared to this book and her other previous writing has been compared in scope to writers such as Bradbury and Asimov. So that's some high praise there. And then I just wanted to show you this book. It's a hardcover, and it comes in at 480 pages, $22. So that's great. Yeah, it's got some spot gloss on it. It's got some really cool sprayed edges. And this is the French edition. I don't have a copy of this in English yet, but looks great. And it publishes the 25th, so next week, but it is in stores right now. There's no hard and fast street date, so you can run on down or call and reserve a copy. So it is in at Diesel now, and that's Christelle Dabos's We.
What a great looking cover that is. I can just get lost in that cover. That's excellent.
Yeah.
And a spectacular package altogether for $22. That's amazing. That's a real bargain.
Yeah. No, I did forget to mention that it is considered a YA novel, but I really think that this is a crossover to the adult market. There's a readership for adults as well.
We talk about that on Elevenses a lot too, about the crossover titles. And I think there really are more and more these days, especially with adult and YA. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to speculate. I just think I actually like it because I find that YA is just in terms of what gets published in YA, there's a lot more latitude, I think, for authors allowed to explore. I don't know why this is, but it's a lot more flexible, I think, than when you get into the adult market and they're kind of hard and fast genre rules for publishing. Whereas with young adult, you actually get to blend and explore cross genre and themes that normally would be kind of like, wow, we can't do this theme in that kind of genre. So you see that more in YA, and maybe that's why there's more crossover, I think, into the adult market too. But this looks great. Love it. All right, the 25th. Thank you, Andrea. All right, Suzi, we're going to go back to you.
Okay. My next book is My Sister is Going to Kill Me by Nina Simon. Some of you probably read Nina Simon's previous book, Mother-Daughter Murder Night. It was an Indie Next pick, a New York Times bestseller, and a Reese's Book Club pick. And I wasn't with Harper at the time, but I just remember seeing this on like staff displays. I remember just seeing it as a book club pick. It's huge. And so Nina Simon is back, and she returns with another exciting family-forward whodunit that I think her previous readers will just gobble right up. We have Lily and Mandy, who are two sisters, complete opposites in every way. Every year they take a sibling vacation together, just the two of them. And this year they've decided to go rafting in the Grand Canyon. This trip takes an unexpected turn when a member of the party turns up dead and a corpse appears in the water, of course, as one does. And then from there, it's clear the murderer is part of their travel party, but every member in the river rafting group is suspicious for a different reason. And as things continue to go awry, it becomes clear that there's going to be another death soon. But who's going to claim the victim? Will it be the murderer or will it be Mother Nature herself? If you like fast-paced adventures in the great outdoors filled with lovely descriptions of the Grand Canyon and all of its natural beauty, this is the book for you. If you like family-driven narratives with dark humor and quippy dialogue, this is the book for you. And if you like mysteries with an unknown killer on the loose and civilian detectives trying to stay one step ahead of them, this is the book for you. It's just a super fun, engaging summer read, early fall read, just takes you on a great adventure and just never slows down.
Mother-Daughter Murder Night was huge. We just couldn't stop selling that one. It was really fun. Everybody loved it. It was, just such an easy recommend. And I think this one will be as well. It's got a great title, which I think will help it. Even better than Mother-Daughter Murder Night. I have 3 sisters, so I feel like I should, have one for each one of them.
It's a perfect gift for siblings, right?
Exactly. Well, for sisters specifically, it's like, yeah. So really, yeah, I kind of, it's the kind of idea, unlocked room murder mystery in the Grand Canyon is kind of a funny kind of thought,
Exactly. I kept calling it locked room and I was like, but it's not. It's in the outdoors. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really
exactly. Which is enduring in popularity. So she's got a really winning formula. So this one's definitely gonna follow along, I think. Thank you, Suzi.
Thank you.
All right, Dave, back to you for number 2.
All right. This is one that since the moment I read it, I couldn't wait for it to come out. It did come out last week. It is an Indie Next pick. It is Sunrise by Tea Obreht. It is phenomenally good. If you've read her before, you're going to love it. If you've never read her, this is a great way to jump in on the Tea Obreht train. It's so fun. It's a great thriller. It's told in 3 different eras. So if you're a fan of Emily St. John Mandel, who likes it when the stories all weave together and come together for a big payoff at the end, this is it, but without the sci-fi aspects of it. It's set in 2024, 2003, and 1903. So it starts with Nina, who's pushed out of an airplane by her boyfriend. The airplane is currently crashing. We don't know exactly why she's shoved out, but she is. She goes into survival mode in the middle of the Wyoming forest, and it's a really breakneck pace as she tries to figure out how she's going to survive. She eventually stumbles upon this old ghost town of Sunrise, where she unlocks this a couple 100 years old mystery of the town, why it went dark, and everything about it. Flash backwards, and it goes to the 1903 setting where you find out what really happened in Sunrise. Speed forward to another person who's trying to protect the story of Sunrise. And then it all comes to a head in the present, and it's just phenomenally told. Everyone who's read it, who I've gone to talk to, is like, oh my gosh, what was that ending? It is so worth your time. It's very exciting. I would love to talk about it with everybody. I would love to spoil the ending because it was that good. But yeah, it's great. It's been one of my favorites to talk about. And the more I think about it, the more I want to go back and read it again to pick up all the little clues along the way that pay off at that end. And look at that cover. It's just stunning with the skull in the middle and the sun rising all around it. Just really
fantastic cover. Love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Trying to think if I got it.
So this is why I'm so happy to see you on Elevenses, Dave, because we've been really missing these great books from Random House.
Yes.
Tea Obreht just always, again, an event, like a publishing event when she has a new book. but I love the thriller aspect of this, and it is obviously resonating. I mentioned Indie Next. I always like to talk about Indie Next because in case anybody doesn't know, and if you're a regular watcher of Elevenses, you can't not know, but I'll repeat it anyway, that these are books, the Indie Next list, which comes out every month and which is available at Diesel and all of your independent bookstores. And it's booksellers from around the country, not just in one little area, who vote on these titles before they come out, so that you have a nice, like, a bookseller directed list to look at, which is not done by an algorithm, but actual humans who have read the book. And so every time I'm big on the Indie Next list. I think it's great. It's a great place to turn if you're looking for recommendations. So
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Tastemakers and big mouths.
that's right. Call it. Can't stop us once we start talking about books. It's true. Yeah.
And even though I said
Excellent.
I want to spoil the ending, don't skip to the end because it won't make sense if you haven't read the whole book. So
Who skips to the end? What kind of savage skips to the end?
I don't
And
know.
reads the end first. Why would you do that to yourself? I don't know. I know there are people who do that. I know. I've heard.
Right.
I have never understood that.
I don't either. Although, I can actually kind of understand the psychology, but you can't, like, not know anymore. And, you're just so, and then you can, like, read the rest of the book in peace or something. I mean, I understand the mindset. I can't imagine doing it. So anyway, but thanks for the reminder, Dave.
When Harry met Sally, when he's reading a big book and he flips to the last page and says, I'm just finishing a book.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. All right, Andrea, back to you.
All right. Thank you. Nonfiction title this time, Lessons from a Lost Republic, What Ancient Rome Can Tell Us About This American Moment. And this is by Michelle Barenfeld and comes to us from the fine literary press Spiegel and Grau. And this is a lively pocket history of the Roman Republic's collapse and its unsettling echoes with our own political moment, unfortunately. It's I wouldn't say it's breezy, but it's the scholarship here is compelling and presented with a light touch, and it's accessible to a wide array of readers. So I think that's key for anyone who might be interested and just wondering about, if it's readable or not. And it's definitely readable, and I wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't. And this book really couldn't be any timelier. The publication, of course, is time to, for this book to hit the shelves before the midterm elections. And we believe it's poised to enter the news cycle. How could it not be? I think this is going to get a lot of off the book page attention. And it just really is a call to action in many ways. It's not just an overview of what happened and, what happened at the end of the Roman Republic. And it asks some very poignant questions. Will the American people make their voices heard? Will they demand leaders take a stand and oppose the slide towards authoritarian rule? Or, like the Roman Senate, will congressional leadership acquiesce? So some very, I think, important questions this book raises. And there is a call to action, element here. So I think it's got a lot going for it. A handsome, smaller formatted book. It's 8.5 by 5.5, basically 224 pages. So it's not too thick of a tome. And like I say, very accessible. And that's Lessons from a Lost Republic.
So I need to have this book, first of all. And I, as a family who's sort of like, and by family, I mean mostly my husband, obsessed with ancient Rome. But I have been reading a lot of books about, like, collapsing civilizations, and I think that the Roman one is the one that strikes people most, because that's the one most clearly. Even though other civilizations have collapsed over time, which is another great book called Goliath's Curse by Luke Kemp, which I believe is a Viking book, and that's a fantastic book. But that's like it's like this thick, and it's like super dense, and there's math involved.
Yeah.
That's a great book. But it just talks about how these things are inevitable, how at a certain point, these kinds of, like, mega civilizations are sort of created with the seeds of their own destruction already implanted, kind of, but Rome is the most, visible and and colorful of those, actually. So I think I'm going to have to get a copy of this book and check it out. Because it sounds like it's a quicker read than Goliath's Curse for sure, but a lot of the same kinds of things. So, all right. Thank you, Andrea.
Most welcome.
Suzi, why don't you start off the last round of the day?
All right. I feel like I'm always a big tonal shift off of Andrea's books because now we're going to talk about
That's
The
what we
Cow
do.
in the Dark at Night, which is a
Well, we
delightful
need-
picture book.
Yeah, let's face it. We need a palate cleanser now.
Yeah,
So this is-
So
tone shifts the red.
I want you to meet Cow. Cow is doing something a little naughty because Cow is staying awake past bedtime and checking out the world at night outside of the barn. Sure, Cow can't see in the dark and Cow doesn't really know anything about nighttime, but she's very eager to meet the night people. And as long as she's back in the barn before dawn, the farmer will never know that she's gone. So she does meet some night people. They are unusual, suspicious characters. Some of them are perhaps not entirely human, but she's having a great time and she just loves it. Her cat companion, on the other hand, this little guy right here, is very aware of the peril we're in and terrified of all that she has to do to save Cow. It's very boldly graphic. It's very visually appealing. It's a laugh out loud, hilarious story. Kids and adults will both enjoy reading this. In fact, like if you're in one of those life cycles where you're reading books over and over and over again, this is a great one because it stays fresh and fun and you always see something new in the illustrations. It's just wacky and probably our funniest book, if not just the summer, but possibly the whole year. It's perfect for readers who love John Clausen, who love neon green, things that go bump in the night, and just want to have a good time.
Adorable. Harper's got such a great kids list, and it's always nice. This is another thing we talk about every week about how nice it is to sort of. We went for a long time without talking about kids' books, and now we talk about them a lot, actually. Well, I think we've got reps come on. They're like, Deborah wants me to talk about kids' books. So, but this is a really adorable art. It's super cute and also a great back to school book, I think, as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5-year-old approved. My daughter and I have been reading it every night this week, so that definitely helps too. And also why I talk about kids books so much. I've got a little one running around.
The test audience for all of these great books, How cool is that for bedtime stories?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you, Suzi.
Thank you.
All right, Dave, your last book, I'm sure this will be another tone shift.
Yeah, a little bit. It's not a kid's book, but it's a really fun one. Country People by Daniel Mason. This is a Good Morning America book pick. He is a Pulitzer Prize finalist for his work on Northwoods. But it's very much a tonal shift from my previous 2 books, with the breakup of the country and a thriller. This is kind of just a lyrical, fun exploration of the country. It's Katie and Miles pick up their California-based family and go off for a year in the country of Vermont. The funny parts are, she's a very accomplished professor who's going to teach at the university. He's been working on his dissertation for 14 years. I'm never quite able to get over the hump and get that finished for him. So he's supposed to take this year in the country and finalize it. Instead, he goes about meeting the country people and learns all there is to know about what life in the country is like. There's a mysterious society that he stumbles upon and joins. And through it all, it's just really just a funny look at America, relationships, poking fun at academia, and his journey from the beginning of the book to the end is one that's a great payoff. As I was reading, I was like, where is this going? You never know where you're going to end up. It explores both of their kids, the son, the daughter, and a very precocious dog who just can't stop digging in the dirt. And it's just that much fun. It's interesting to see where he goes with it all. It's life affirming and just a really enjoyable read. From what I have not read Northwood, but from what I understand, it's a nice departure from that story, but it does show Daniel Mason's writing chops. And I just was hooked, could not put this one down. So really enjoyed this one. Came out at the beginning.
It came out last month, right? That's when it went on. Yeah.
Yeah, sometime in July.
Right. But I feel like I've been hearing about it for so much longer than that. It's sort of been there've been a lot of chatter about it for a long time. And I guess I read Ron Charles did. He's got a great. You can sign up for his book reviews now that he's not at the Washington Post anymore, and he does twice a week, I think. And he wrote this wonderful review of this book as well, and it's just popping up everywhere, and everybody is loving it. Every bookseller I know has read it, has really loved it, and it's sort of front of store everywhere. So fantastic, really great writing. He really has a way of capturing a mood, I think.
It's very
just-
sharp. It's very witty writing, but it's just enjoyable the way you read it because it's quick, it's snappy. He doesn't really slow down for anything. One of my favorite
Right.
things was this ongoing subplot of the local radio show that he gets to listen to 15 minutes a day, and these are side characters that really have nothing to do with the plot, but in the end, they do have a lot to do with the plot. So it's really funny to follow that thread along the whole thing. So
Right.
really-
And I remember, and it is a departure a little bit from Northwood's. I mean, he still his writing is still there, very, like, as you said, super sharp and everything. But I remember, people coming in and talking about Northwood's and not loving it, not quite knowing what to make of it, but loving it anyway, and trying to get people to describe how they felt about it. And they're like, well, I don't really know how to describe what happens in this book, because he does go off on so many tangents and things, and which is great, which I love. So, excellent. Thank you so much, Dave. All right, Andrea, let's wrap it up for the day with your
You're
last.
right. The last book I would like to talk about is from Milkweed Editions, a stalwart little indie press who also owns a bookstore, and they're based out of Minneapolis. The Saltstones, Seasons of a Shepherd's Life, and this is by Helen Wybrow. And this was an indie next pick when it came out in hardcover, but now it's out in trade paper with a beautiful package that the cover is just gorgeous, and it echoes the hardcover. So, but I just think they've done an excellent job on this. This book was longlisted for the National Book Award when it published in hardcover. It was a finalist for the Vermont Book Awards, an Indie Next selection, like I said, a New Yorker Best Book of the Year, finalist for the New England Book Award. It was featured on NPR's Fresh Air, PBS NewsHour. You get the drift. It got great reviews. And this book is set in Vermont's Green Mountains, and it's just a beautiful, moving meditation on the lessons and wisdoms that come from raising a family on a farm, tending sheep, and living very close to the land. It's just a knockout. And for anybody who's interested in nature writing, and also wants to see how other people live, right? A lot of times people are concerned about regionality, and it's like, well, I don't know anything about a shepherd's life. Well, that's your entree in, right? And I want to read you a bookseller endorsement from John Evans, a co-owner with his lovely partner, Allison Reed of Camino Books in the San Diego area, former owner of Diesel. So that name may sound familiar to people here. Anyway, let me get my notes here. One of the great gifts of the writers we love is so delicately, artfully placing the life waves of their characters in our mind that we can fully imagine and experience them as ourselves. Whether they are human, animal, or even relational to things and landscapes, what a feat of magic. Read this one for a shepherd's life, the lives they live, and the landscapes they fully inhabit. Beautiful, telling, and so fully human. We need that. Yes, we do, folks. It's nice to get out of our heads and our lives and see how other people live and appreciate nature and work on the land. This has got so much going for it. I think that especially now that it's in paperback, this is a perfect book group title. And I hope people do pick that up for their book groups. And it's just some of the most amazing writing that I've come across in a while. So
I loved this book. I mean, I'll read, well, first of all, I will read anything, and I do read everything and anything that Milkweed publishes, because they're one of my favorite little publishers. They don't ever put out a bad book, They're amazing books. So I'm predisposed, but I read this whenever it was, Andrea, before, and I absolutely loved it. It's just gorgeous. It's just
yeah.
Beautiful
it's just,
writing, just transporting, just one of those lovely, soothing, and beautiful, and really well written books. And take you, and like you said, take you out of yourself, out of your own head. So,
for sure. Yeah, the editorial quality, like you mentioned, Deborah, like the editorial quality of any book published by Milkweed is a cut above. They've got great editors there, a wonderful eye, and a seriously strong sensibility. They know what they want to publish, and they do it well.
They do, and they have such a remarkable breadth. They do a lot of great nature books, but poetry and some really interesting memoirs and some really great novels as well.
Yeah.
So big.
Yeah,
I'll always dive in with praise for Milkweed. They're amazing.
Right. And one of your favorite short story collections of the year, Patient Female.
Let's mention that again.
Yes.
Let's mention that again.
Yes. A little plug there. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
No. Well, you didn't tell us what it is, Andrea.
Well, I think I discussed this on one of my earlier appearances here. A short story collection that came out in May, I believe, that Deborah was a indie champion, a stalwart indie book selling champion of that book. A delightful book about all based on women and their particular struggles in the world, but pretty darn funny as well. The author has the first person to win. Oh my God, what is it? I can't think of.
I can't either. I'm trying to help you out here, but I can't.
Yeah, it's a humor award.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm really blowing it now. That's terrible. But the O. Henry Award? No, that's not it.
Anyway, we'll find it. Julie Schumacher is her name.
Yeah.
And Patient, female is the name of the short story collection.
Patient Female.
Fabulous, fabulous collection. Can't talk about it enough. There's so many great short story collections out there right now. You all have them. Everybody here, every rep here today has a bunch of really great short story collections, and this is just one that I really have talked about. We've talked about it a bunch because it's just really good.
I remember now. She was the first woman to win the Thurber Prize for American.
Harper. That's what it is. That's right. Anyway, a great little book, another Milkweed book. So just to add to your list. We snuck another one in there. We do that sometimes. But that's a great place to end, and a bunch of really, really wonderful books today. I'm so excited. I'm always excited, actually, and I always add to my list, but today is a wonderful assortment of books and across a really broad spectrum. So I want to thank everybody here today. Suzi Hough from HarperCollins, Andrea Tetrick from PGW, and Dave Suter from Random House. Great to have you on, Dave. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Joey, behind the scenes with putting up the covers and the links. We appreciate you, Joey, and we appreciate everybody who tuned in today to watch. We will be back again next week. We're like the mail. We show up no matter what the weather. And we'll be back with more reps. We'll be back with more books and more great book discussions. So hope you will come back and join us then. Until then, everybody, stay cool and happy reading. We'll see you then.